passion for worship is born out of passion for God. I was asked to conduct a seminar in one of the churches, and the direction that was given to me, Pastor, can you please teach not only the worship team but all the people how to have passion for the Lord? And it gives me a lot of questions. Can I teach people to have passion? Can I mold you into having a passion? I was asking that question. Maybe I cannot. It's either you have a passion or you don't have it. Or it's either you have a passion but at this particular moment it has waned away. Passion is a very interesting thing, but to those who have been baptized this morning, and to many of us who have been with the Lord, we need to have passion, especially passion for worship. One of the reasons why he asked me, can you please conduct a seminar on passion for worship? Because in order that people may be conditioned or be forced to attend worship service and expressing God as their passion. But let us try to understand the meaning of passion. And I would like to say immediately that you won't have any passion for worship until you have passion for God. Because passion for worship is a passion for God. If you don't have any passion for God, you may attend a worship, but it is just a religious obligation. Or there's another reason, perhaps you want to see your friend, or perhaps I feel happy and happy. I'm happy when we're singing. But passion for worship begins with a passion for God. What is passion? And how do we develop passion? I'm not talking about fashion, F-A-S-H-I-O-N. I know you can define passion immediately. You can think of M&S and all of these expensive garments. Passion, what is passion and how do we develop it? We can define passion in the way the psalmist in Psalm 42 verse 1 to 2, he describes his feeling. This was his feeling. As a deer pants for flowing streams, so pants my soul for you, O God. My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. That is passion at its peak. And I hope and pray that this is what we try to achieve, that every time, not only during Friday services, but throughout the days of our lives, we thirst for God. We thirst and hunger for Him. We long for Him. Because without this passion, without this yearning, worship becomes a mechanical thing or a religious thing that we do day in and day out without any meaning. Passion for God steers our heart and make worship a beautiful worship for the Lord. So what is passion? It can be defined in many ways, but I define it in this way. It is the aspiration, it is the longing of a heart and mind for someone, for something, because you can be passionate for something like a car, or a job, or some kind of things that you desire to have. You can be passionate, a cloth that you see in Bevan House. You become passionate about fashion, or some ideas, like some people who talks about politics, who talks about philosophy. They have a passion because they simply believe that this philosophy or this idea is the key to the harmony and happiness here on earth. And because of that, they become passionate about it. In Europe, we have lots of football players. You could see their very passion for it. I don't know if you are a football fan, but perhaps you know the name like Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi. And all of these guys, they are people who excel in their career, in their profession, because of passion. We admire the way they dribble the ball and shoot the ball in different angles, but we don't realize that behind the scene, they work day in and day out, practicing, exercising, keeping themselves fit in order to achieve what they have been dreaming of. Passion is a dream. Passion is a longing, but it does not simply come to our heart. And so when we talk about passion for worship as passion for God, so the question that we need to talk about is, what is your aspiration about God? What do you want to happen about God? And these are the things that we need to know. Now when we talk about worship or passion for worship, therefore, is a yearning for the glory and enthronement of God. I didn't put a lot of passages here, but this is the simplest description of what worship is all about. When the people of God gathered during the feast of Passover and Shabbat and all of this stuff, and even in the book of Revelation, when there was a worship in heaven, the main idea is to glorify and enthrone God. It is God who's being exalted, because the people who gathered were so excited for their God. And so people gathered, and they yearn is at the end of the day, they have a better, bigger idea, bigger knowledge and picture of the God that they want to worship. Worship is a trust to know better and better someone that you glorify, because you want that passion that you have to be fulfilled. To be fulfilled. That's the idea of a passion. You want to fulfill it. So, what do you want to be fulfilled with regards to our knowledge of God? So therefore, if we can define worship in that manner, with a passion, worship is the exaltation and enthronement of God through our praises. So you notice worship is not about singing alone, but that's part of it. Our praises exalts God. We talk about God. We magnify what He has done. And that's the reason why we want to enthrone Him. We adore Him. Adoration. I'm sure alam po natin yung ibig ng ina-adore. If you are a fan of an artist, that's my problem now. Every time I want to give an example of actors and actresses and entertainers, wala akong maisip kasi puro luma yung kilala ko. But anyway, even in the Philippines, when we talk about movie star, kilala ko na Sharon Cuneta. But I don't know those new names. But anyway, is it not if you're a fan of a certain entertainer, you adore, you want to look at the picture. Oh, and then you put the pictures on your, because gusto mo palaging nakikita. That's adoration. Adore you. Nasuspoon ka dun sa ina-adore mo. And then you offer gifts. That's why we have tithes and love offering. In the Old Testament, they offer sacrifice. Because that's part of exalting someone. Isn't that when during Christmas, this is the funniest thing about human being. During lapit na naman ng Pasko, and I'm sure that many of you are beginning to worry the list of gifts that you have to give, isn't it? And this is interesting. If you're going to give a gift for someone that, just a close friend who do not know much, you can just buy him 10 dirhams, isn't it? 20 dirhams. Or even look at your previous gifts that you never use and give it to them. But when you're giving a gift to someone who is rich, richer than you, who is affluent than you, isn't it you're forced to give them an expensive gift? I cannot understand that. They're supposed to be the one to give me gift. But that's the way gifts is all about. So what I'm trying to say, if you're going, our gifts, the gifts that we give is dependent on the status of the person to whom you will give it. If you love the person, you give an expensive gift. And another crazy thing, if it is powerful and rich, you give an expensive gift. But, so if we use that as a category, a leverage of how I should give a gift to God, If I am going to give a gift to a rich and powerful person that is expensive, so what do you need to give to God? Our time is not even enough. But God is just so gracious and benevolent and say, okay, but an expression of the whole. And then also, we enthrone God and exalt God through our gifts and through our deeds. Our deeds, our action is part of that worship. We cannot come to God and worship Him and do something mischievous before and pretend that there is nothing happening. The deeds of our acts, or the actions that we do, is basically part of that worship. Are you with me? You're quiet. So, you notice worship is not just singing, it's not just playing, we adore, we like the music, it's part of our expression. But remember that it's not the complete avenue of worship. It's just one of the expression that we give to our God. So passion for worship is equal to passion for God. To have passion for worship and make it a real passion and make worship a long-lasting part of our lives that gives us energy, that gives us life and hope, it should be a worship that is motivated by a passion for God. So how could one have passion for God? So that's the question now. How could we have one passion for God? It's a difficult thing to answer and to give you a concrete way to do it because passion is not consistent. To those who have been baptized, and like me before, there are times in my journey as a Christian, I've been a pastor since 1989. And I'm telling you that 1989, not up to the present, I cannot say to you it's a lie to tell you that I was consistently passionate for God. There were times in my life that I'm down. There are times in my life I want to abandon my pastoral duty. There were times that I question God. Because passion is not about consistency. But passion is something that you pursue. You pursue it. Even football players, even athletes, even singers. You know, I have my young son, David. Many of you young people know my son, David. Aside, he's taking his further studies today, but aside from that, he is a musician. He composed music, and she had a team with somebody, and sometimes they were invited for gig. At the beginning, I noticed that he was really so passionate about it. But you know what? Today, there are times that he finds it boring. Because if you're doing the same thing all over again and again, singing the same song again and again and again, you notice, the zeal, the passion disappeared. It disappeared. In other words, passion is not something that it is inconsistent. It is inconsistent. But one thing I could tell my son is his love for music will always be there. He loves music, but the routine of everything makes it boring. And similarly, athletes and even us today, you will notice if you try to make a prayer life that every day you woke up 4 o'clock in the morning, you may be passionate for it for the first 3 days, but after 5 days, tatawag ka na ng 5. No? And then after another 6 days, pwede ba 6 na lang? No? And then, on and on and on, because passion is something that is not constant. But we could have passion for God. This is what Paul describes, the way to gain passion. This is how Paul described his passion for the Lord. He said, "Indeed, I count everything as loss because of the surpassing worth of knowing Christ Jesus, my Lord." So Paul is saying, I suffered a lot. I have been punished a lot. I have abandoned everything. But I'm passionate for this surpassing knowledge of knowing Jesus Christ, my Lord. For His sake I have suffered the loss of all things, not just one, of all things, and count them as rubbish in order that I may gain Christ and be found in Him. This is passion at its peak. But if you would study the letters of Paul, there are times in his letter that he is desperate, that he feels unloved. There is that sense of longing. It is as if the absence of the God that is longing for. But that is passion. It goes in and out. That's why in your Christian walk, don't expect that you will be 100% on the go every day. But you must strive to keep it up every day of your life. And so therefore, passion for God is not, first of all, is not measured by good emotional feeling. Sometimes we think of our excitement for God the moment that we are happy. When everything is good, let's say you come to the worship service and the worship team is singing songs that you don't feel, and then all of a sudden you would say, I don't feel like worshiping anymore, because you did not reach the emotional high. That's a problem, and the passion disappears, the longing to pursue it, because immediately the first event that you see was not pleasing to your emotion. Or sometimes people get so excited about it that they just measure everything in the way they feel. But passion at times requires pain and suffering. You will not always be in the mood for love, or say that you are having experiencing a wonderful feeling about God. There would be times that you would say, "Where are you, my God?" And there are times where you would be disappointed. People will persecute you, misunderstood you. You cannot simply say, "I rebuke you, misunderstanding of me." You cannot do that. You rebuke your enemy because you think that the passion is gone because of them. No. Sometimes those things are needed in order to revive and strengthen once again that longing for God. Passion is not a desire given by God. Let us not be mistaken, because there are times in my experiences that people or Christians will come to me, "Pastor, can you please pray for me, anoint me, and lay your hands upon me so that I may gain my excitement for God?" My question is, I cannot give you an excitement. I cannot give you that feeling. I cannot. It's not something that I have in my pocket. It's not there. And God cannot give that desire. Because it is a result of our walk with God. I love my wife. We are going to be 30 years next year. I have passion for to be with my wife, to be with her. But I like to be honest though, that our walk together was not smooth all the time. There were arguments, fights, but not a bloody one. But we had arguments. There are things that we discuss, a lot of things. And there are times when it happens, you notice that it seems your excitement to go on disappears. But when you reflect upon what has happened, and when you are revived, the event that happened that is negative, it turns into a more positive thing, that you desire more your spouse. And so, my passion for my wife is not based on feeling, but it's based on our togetherness for many, many years. Because there's no other woman in this world who has walked with me in my life and accepted me the way I am. And similarly, my walk with God, there is no other God, no one here on earth who can understand me and accept me for who I am. So therefore, even though at times you are discouraged, it appears that God is far away, I need to go on. I need to have that passion to long for Him, because He is my refuge, and there's no one else on earth who can understand me. And so, passion is not a desire that comes, but passion is a product or a virtue of our walk with God. Walk with the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is not given to us just to feel good. The Holy Spirit is given to us so that He walks with us. And you walk with Him. You live with Him. And He's the one who steers our heart and make God more real to us. So, where does passion comes? Passion is born out of love relationship with God. To my dear brothers and sisters who were baptized this morning is the beginning of that deep love relationship with God. That is where your passion begins. And I could feel the excitement of those who came forward. Now there is a sense of, oh, wow, wow. But don't rely on that feeling. Try to build that relationship with you, with God, because that is where you need to pursue the passion. And secondly, passion, again, if it is not given, if it is not something that you receive, passion is something that you need to pursue. You have to pursue that passion. You have to keep it up in spite of what you feel, in spite of the situation. That's why passion for God is a pursuit of deepening one's love for God. Again, with married couple, you pursue to keep your love and deepen your love with your spouse. You cannot rely on your feelings or the situation of life. If you want to have a happy retirement with your spouse, if you want to be happy together when you're, sabi nga ni Sharon, kahit maputi na ang buhok mo. If you want to achieve that, you have to deepen, you have to have that passion to deepen your relationship with your spouse. Because if we will depend on the situations of life, that passion will not be there. Life will become a disaster. If you want to be happy, you need to pursue it. Passion for God is a pursuit. You work for it, you long for it. So I'd like to talk about the pursuit of passion for God. So how can we steer up? So I'm not saying now it cannot come, but I'm saying how can I steer this passion for God? First of all, is pursue to know God, to further our understanding and deepen our love for Him. Number two is to pursue His Word and truth. It means to hear Him. And finally, it is an endless pursuit. The pursuit of knowing God and knowing Him. Please listen very carefully. Knowing God and hearing Him are two different things. We can know a lot about God through our theologies and doctrines. We explain Him, what He has done, blah, 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 the beautiful character of God. That's one important thing. And many times we dwell on that. That's what we dwell about. But knowing God or knowing your wife does not mean you're hearing her. Do you follow what I'm saying? You can know God, but you may not be hearing what He is saying. You notice in the Bible, we call it the revelation of God. The first revelation is a revelation of the person of God. He is the omnipotent, omniscient, and all these theological deep words that we use in order to describe God. But the second revelation we can gain from the Bible is to hear what God is saying. The commandments, the principles of life. These are the voice of God that guides us, and it needs to be heard. It is not to be known. It is to be heard. I remember when when in my early days, maybe we were just about 3 months into marriage. And then one day, Rosanna stopped talking to me. 3 months. And for 2 days, she doesn't want to talk to me. And I'm wondering why. And then, but anyway, we cannot go on like this, so we talk. And you know the reason why? I did not hear her. I know her, but I did not hear her heart. She was simply saying, our light bulb in the toilet is busted. Can you please replace it? I know her, she was telling me, but I don't hear. I didn't hear. Why is she telling me that? I didn't hear the knowing. Why does she want it to be there? You see, that's a different thing. And so when I put on the bulb, we were friends again. But the point of the matter, she explained to me, and a reason why it's like that, because, but you know, that's the meaning of hearing people. Hearing God. We know a lot of things about God. We could even talk about the Trinity, trying to explain it. But the point of the matter, what do you hear about the Trinity? What do you hear from God out of it? And that is an important thing, the pursuit of knowing God and hearing God. Knowing God, it is to pursue and understand God and deepen our love for Him. Knowing God is delighting in His character and in His deeds. Let's talk about the first commandment. I'm sure I don't need to put it. You know that. Love God with all thy heart, with all thy might, and with all thy strength. Again, love God with all thy mind. My question is, how do you love God with all your mind? In other words, we need to fill this mind with God. In other words, that's why you have Bible study. You need to know God, because this brain of mine should be able to know God. So when God said, love me with all thy mind, it is not a blind understanding of God, just copying what other people do about God, but knowing, searching, reading, hearing, knowing this God, and fill my mind about God. Are you with me? It's just like my kids. I have to know my kids. I need to know each and every one of them, so that I can relate and love them the way they should be loved. But it does not come naturally. I have to observe. I have to talk with them. I have to dialogue with them. I have to use my mind to understand, so that I can continue to love. That's why passion is something that we do. We pursue to know Him more. Day by day, we need to know things about God. Because you cannot relate with someone that you don't know. It will be superficial. Just like, hi, brothers and sisters. We can say brothers and sisters. But that's not relationship. It's just relationship on congratulations. That in order to have a relationship, you need to know the person. Because why do you want to know? So that I can relate properly and love him or her properly, bless them properly, talk to them properly, live with them properly. But I need to know. Knowing God is the... And so we need to know God, to pursue it. Read the Word of God. Study. Don't be too lazy to know something about God. Because you need to develop that passion. And then secondly is hearing God. Pursue of His Word through to abide in the words of Christ. Jesus said, abide in me. I am the vine and you are the branches. Abide in me so that you may have fruit. What does He mean? Hear what I'm saying. isn't just simply talking about knowing it and memorizing it, but hear what it means. Because it's the one that gives liberty to us to relate to God beyond our religious laws. Sometimes in our relationship to God, it is very religious. You know, if you try to relate to your wife or your spouse or husband or your children based on law, you know that? Sometimes we relate with one another based on law. What does it mean? If you do this, I'll be good to you. If not, galit tayo. My kids, do this. If you do this, you have to comply with this. That's one kind of relationship that we're used to. Law. And sometimes we relate to God based on religious law, when in fact He's not telling us to do that. But genuine relationship is when you remove the law, when you remove those things, and you begin to relate out of love and understanding and hearing. And things becomes better. It becomes more free. You become more free in expressing your heart and mind to somebody. Hearing God is so important. Abiding in the words of God does not mean legalistically following it, but hearing and understanding. I'll give you an example. The command of Jesus, love your neighbor as you love yourself. We can memorize that. But what He means to say is understand what it means. What are the benefits? What good things that it do if I abide by the word? That if I love my neighbor as I love myself, what will happen? And you know what? When you understand what will happen, it becomes exciting. You know, in parenting, sometimes we scold our children to obey the law. And to them, because I grew up that way, there is a law, and I become scared of the law. And because I'm scared of the law, I'm scared of God. And there are times that I become adamant about God, because all I see is law. But one thing, when I grew up, when I understand the meaning of the law, what it is for, the good things that it will give me, then it does not become a burdensome. You know, many times we need to explain the law to our children. Why it is to be followed. What benefits, what blessing will it give? It is not there just to keep you on the line. It is there because it is the key to life. That's what the psalmist said, Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light to my path. He's not talking about legally measuring my holiness of the law, but the law. When I hear what it means, when I hear what God is saying, it becomes freedom for me to live my life away from the dangers of life. And finally, it's an endless pursuit. It does not end. We need passion for God is something that you pursue. There will be days that you wake up and you don't feel like coming to church or even praying. But don't rely on that feeling. You need to go on and pursue. Because you are in a relationship with a holy God. And that relationship is not based on rules and regulation. It is not based on your feelings and excitement. It is based on a faithful God who promised to be with you throughout the days of our life. And finally, passion for God results to becoming in the image and likeness of God. I'll give you an example again. When Beatles was popular, that was when I was in high school. I was a fan of Beatles, and what happened is, I cut my hair the same way. Isn't it? Now, a lot of young people now, they admire a rapper or admire somebody. You will notice they basically talk and look like them. And even politicians, I know that people love Duterte in the Philippines, they act like Duterte. But what I'm saying is, when you are passionate for somebody and you keep on pursuing it without you knowing it, you become like them. You become the representative of that particular person or idea or something. Similarly with God. If you continue to pursue God without knowing it, you will not look like Jesus or whoever, but your life, your righteousness, your deeds, the way you thought with people, the way you understand people, the way you keep your mouth shut when I'm not supposed to talk, and the way you understand and hear, the way you deal with the enemies, people who don't like you, is becoming like God. It's becoming like God. Because your life is saturated with the knowledge and hearing of this God. To the point that indeed what God has created, man was created in the image and likeness of God, is going to be happening in your life. Without knowing it. Without knowing it. It just becomes part of you. In your family, all of a sudden you notice arguments are lessened. All of a sudden anger disappears. As you continue, both of you pursue this passion of God. The pursuit of passion for God. Christopher White writes us, in trying to acquire the character of God, he said, God will not be worshipped and cannot be known apart from commitment to righteousness and justice, faithfulness and love, the things that defines God's own character and are His delight. What he's saying is, as we continue to pursue God's character, you will become righteous, not because you're trying to be one, but because you're following the righteousness of Christ. You become a just person. You don't judge people and condemn people immediately. You become faithful and you're able to love because you pursue a God who loves, who teaches us how to love, who teaches us the love, kind of love that has given humanity salvation. And I end that way. Passion for worship is born out of passion